Well, hey there. Welcome to VGMporium. And if you're returning from after the grand opening,
The first episode.
then welcome back. Hopefully that means you enjoyed your experience and just had to come back and shop for more VGM goodness. And speaking of shopping, the featured specialty of today is going to be shop themes, which is fitting as I'm running this show kind of like a shop, though it's more than a shop. It's an emporium. It's not like a little convenience store like 7-Eleven or Family Mart. It's more along the lines of kind of like that Japanese chain of stores Don Quixote, which has everything that you could imagine needing, as well as some weird, obscure items that you would never even imagine needing, but would be kind of cool to have. Though, we don't have quite a cool little jingle like they do, like that Don 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 Quixote. But I digress. The track that we came in on is Tomato Mart from Shenmue on the Sega Dreamcast, composed by Ryuji Iuchi, who's pretty much composed all the music for all the Shenmue games that have come out, this 1, 2, 3. He also did the music for Super Monkey Ball 2, and then in 2013 did something for Extetra. Huh. Well, anyway, this theme, if you've ever played Shenmue, and, you went into this little mart, with the little tomato, this is probably stuck in your head, and it probably pops up every once in a while. I know it does for me. And then this little phrase right here, you heard that. That was, they're saying, Anata no konbini tomatomato, which translates to, your convenience store, Tomato Mart. And this totally embodies Japan's, I want to say, obsession with having just like themes and little musics and jingles and stuff in all their, stores and train stations and just all over the place. I only spent a month there, but the one thing that just I miss is just all these places just having their own little themes, like the ridiculous music playing in the supermarkets and the convenience stores, the little jingles on the JR stations, all the underground paths and all the the malls going to the Depa Chicas and everything, just having these cool little jingles. I don't know. If I ever could go back, I would bring a recorder with me just to record these things. And before I forget, Takenobu Mitsuyoshi provided the vocals right here. I almost forgot, but I remembered. No composer gets left out if I can help it, no matter how small their role was. Now let's move on to the next track I got here for you. Let me just grab it out of the card here. And it's Weapon Shop theme from Esper Dream 2, released only in Japan on the Famicom, composed by Kinuyo Yamashita. Wasn't that a jolly little jingle? That was a Weapon Shop theme from Esper Dream 2 on the Famicom, composed by Kinuyo Yamashita. And as you could hear, this again uses that chip, the VRC6, for that enhanced sound. I forgot to note on the last episode that that not only does it provide enhanced sound, but it also helps enhance the graphics, the processing power, adds extra processing power for graphics and sprite work and everything. And this game, from the screenshots I've seen and some of the gameplay video footage, it's a really bright, colorful, beautiful looking game. I gotta tell you, all the music in this game is just top notch. But That's no wonder because the composer Kinuyo Yamashita, she got her start doing the music for Castlevania. She would go on to do the music for Power Blades 1 and 2, Pocky and Rocky 2, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on the Super NES, Mega Man X3, the Mega Man The Wily Wars, which only got released in Japan and the PAL regions, and we only got it on Sega Channel here in the US for those that had it. Pernell, I'm talking to you. And then went on to do multiple Medarot games. We know it here in the States as Metabots, if you remember that from the late 90s, early 2000s, during the whole craziness of bringing in, of companies bringing in animated cheaply dub them over. And that's pretty much most of what I found. She's done a lot of work, co-work with Iku Mizutani, which I know is going to be making on this show eventually. And so now a bit about this game. It's an action RPG game. The story is this: you play as Mamoru, a bookworm, who has to go and recover the 5 rings of the book world, and he's assisted by his friends Fairy, Lisa, Aram, who is a conductor, Neji-kun, a living flathead screw, and Hoshi-kun, a star with a wand. Yeah, it's I've never played this one. I've never emulated it. I know there's an English patch that you can load into the ROM and everything, but it's one of those ones I need to try out once I actually take the time to start playing games again. And now it's time to change the tune here. We've got Apple Market from Mega Man Legends on the PS1, composed by Makoto Tomozawa. This would fit right in at in a Konbini or a Depachica. This was Apple Market from Mega Man Legends on the Sony PlayStation, composed by Makoto Tomozawa. And this music plays in the area Apple Market, which hosts various shops. You got the Junk Shop, Jetlag Bakery, High Necked Record Store, where you can actually go in and play samples from various CDs of different genres, jazz, rock, what have you. And it's just a really nice kind of low-key, vibey place. There's really nice folks in there. There's some hoodlums kind of hanging out there. They'll make some stinky faces at you and stuff. But it's just all around like a really nice place, like any other like a nice little market, And Makoto Tomozawa, who made this really nice music, started out doing Mega Man: Dr. Wily's Revenge on the Game Boy. She would go on to be the composer for Mega Man X and Mega Man 7. She did the music for the Resident Evil, and then of course Mega Man Legends 1 and 2 here. It's just kind of like a Capcom mainstay, and just worked on like a bunch of was part of sound staff for Street Fighter 4. Did a few tracks for both Mega Man 9 and 10. Let's see. So about Mega Man Legends, it was actually Mega Man's first foray into RPGing, though this one's more of like an action RPG, 3D. You play as Mega Man, or as he's in Japan, Rockman Trigger, and he's just a regular human boy, as far as we know, who's a digger. Again, that term coming up, and who goes into ancient ruins to find ancient technologies and artifacts, donning the the classic blue Mega Man suit. And, he, just minding his own business, and then gets involved with a bunch of wackiness and shenanigans that eventually lead up to some world-changing events. And, I wouldn't mind seeing these two games, Mega Man Legends and Mega Man Legends 2, get a remaster treatment at some point, hopefully for the 35th anniversary coming up. Capcom, you listening? Because, these were some really fun games. I mean, the controls may have been a little wonky, but, you get used to that. But it's mostly the world that was created here and the characters and just, like, the interactions. I mean, just the interactions between, Mega Man and Tronbon and the Tron family. They're the quote-unquote kind of like rivals to, the Cult Volnut family there. Was just really fun and enjoyable. And, like I said, hopefully this one gets a remaster, sometime soon, eventually. Hopefully. Not enough of my gabbing. We're gonna move right on to our next shop music here. You're gonna like this one. This one's a real jam. Got see what's this? Shopkeeper, a Shopkeeper from Front Mission Gun Hazard, released for the Super Famicom, composed by the one and only Yasunori Mitsuda. Now that was, I have to correct myself, a Storekeeper from Front Mission Gun Hazard on the Super Famicom, composed by Yasunori Mitsuda. And that man never disappoints. I mean, when he wants to get that wonky, funky, jazzy goodness on, he knows how to do it. You know, that nice, clean brass that he's using for the lead, and then those really sharp brass stabs that come in, and then that really gunky synth bass, that just that all over the place percussion, coming like, hi-hats all left and right, snare over here, and then this right here, this like funky beat. And then what has got to be one of my favorite percussion sounds, that metal strike, and the interplay between the brass and the xylophone going on here. It just sounds like Yasunori's just letting himself have some fun, just after recovering from that ordeal that was the Chrono Trigger soundtrack. Speaking of which, that was his first thing that he had composed, and then followed me up with this, which he also co-composed with Nobuo Uematsu and Masashi Hamauzu, I think, and one other one. And then also contributed some tracks to Tobal Number 1. And then went right into composing the music for Xenogears, and then right into Chrono Cross. And he also did the music for Xenosaga Episode 1, and then one of the, he's just been kind of making music for games here and there. One of the ones I pulled out was Inazuma 11. But yeah, pretty much most everything this guy makes is guaranteed gold. So now a bit about this game, Front Mission Gun Hazard. It is part of the Front Mission series. We did get the first one, I think, here in the States on the SNES, or at least one of them. And it was a strategy, like tactics style game. But this one is more of a, get this, side-scrolling shooter RPG. And yeah, the story here is that your main character, Albert, has to travel around the world to stop his former ally and mentor, Ark Hellbrand, that's a name for you, from pretty much toppling all the world governments and creating a new utopia or some, I can't quite remember what that was, but you pilot a mech and you go around and fighting other mechs through these side-scrolling stages, but you do kind of go around like a world map grid thing, and you get to actually upgrade your mech, which is where this music that's playing right now plays for a shop where you can actually go buy new gear, weapons, armor, everything, and for yourself, and then for your allies that you collect throughout as you go through the world, everything. So you can actually upgrade multiple mechs and everything. So this one is a pretty crazy game, and I actually did play this. There's a really good English patch for this, and I really encourage you, if you're not opposed to emulating, go play this one, because it's really a cool experience. It's fun. But yeah, one little funny thing is that, like, the shopkeeper, like when you're leaving, he'll say, "Come again." But for some reason in my head, I keep, like I was just jokingly, I keep hearing it. So it's just, I don't know, the weird brain of a boy. But yeah, so now it's let's move on to our next track here. We got an original track here, definitely inspired by video game music and a few other things. So this one's called 10th Floor Shopping District by HaruMKT, more specifically from her SoundCloud channel, HaruMKT Second. was the perfect music for a leisurely stroll doing some window shopping. That was 10th Floor Shopping District by HaruMKT, real name Harumi Makoto. And I pulled up her Bandcamp here, and a little blurb here says, "Hi, I'm HaruMKT, a variety producer from the Netherlands. I primarily invest my time in older synths and mimicking the sound of bygone eras." And she does that in pretty much in spades. I've kind of listened to her music on SoundCloud for a few years now. She has like 3 accounts, one that's filled with both covers and originals. That one got filled up, started a second one for her originals, and then started a third one for her covers. And they're all just like really good. Just definitely, she knows how to get into those sounds of like just old, be it video game, old synths, whatnot. But I highly recommend you go check her out. So, it's HaruMKT, SoundCloud, Bandcamp, Twitter. And she's also involved with the SMWC, or the Super Mario World custom community that I've seen, and I haven't really gotten involved or checked that out too much, but I understand it gets pretty wacky there. And pretty much as the name suggests, they just create custom Super Mario World music. Either, I don't know if they do it through DAWs with the samples, or if they actually have a specific program they use, which through some programming wizardry that I probably wouldn't even be able to understand, they just mess with like the SPC, the actual sound file from the the SNES ROM. Oh yeah, I just said SNES. God damn it. Just totally mess with like the whole language in there to just like recompose it and everything. I don't know, but this song would totally fit in with like in a Deppa Chica or a Kombini, and just to kind of give you like, I keep saying these things and just to tell you what they mean. Kombini is, the Japanese, I think it's Romaji for a convenience store, and then Deppa Chica is the combination of 2 words, Deppa, which is department, and Chica, which is the Japanese word for basement. You put them together, and then you get basically Deppa Chica, which is like the basement of the department stores, where there's like this huge, just like food mart, basically, like people just making all kinds of food, candies, goods, little gifts, prizes, and there's even like usually a supermarket in the very back too. And they just like, if you're ever in Japan and you're hunkering for a snack, I don't know, they're doing it nowadays because of everything that's been going on, but most of these places would be giving out samples, and you could just go around and just get samples, and you probably would be able to hit a different stand that would probably never repeat one. And one of my favorite things to get there is going to be a little strange. It's was a chicken liver skewer. So it's just basically just like cooked chicken livers on a skewer, then glazed with some teriyaki. And oh man, that was like, that was some power food to keep you going through the day. In a little event corner here, it's surprisingly hard to find like, this background music. I kept hearing in like, the Kombinis, the Deppa Chicas, and the Supermarketos. It's just, the only one I've been able to find online is the theme for Book Off, which is like, kind of like basically a thrift store there, and a few supermarket theme songs which have lyrics and are, actual. I'm looking for like that stuff that's just kind of like the, using like the synths and the like kind of MIDI sounds and the, I don't know. Gonna find it. If somebody knows where to find it or has a stash of them, something, you can send it on over to VGMporium, VGMporium @gmail.com, and that would make me a happy fella. So next up in our featured items is Hip Shop from Deltarune by Toby Fox. Ah, that was so smooth, so crisp, so fresh, so hip. Shop from Deltarune by Toby Fox. And I'm pretty sure that a hammock of KVGM The Last Wave could come up with something a lot better than what I just did there. But yeah, no, this one is really nice. And I'm pretty sure it could be universally agreed upon that, yeah, Toby Fox is like some kind of musical savant beyond even imagination. Being able to write all these just really catchy melodies and tunes, and yeah. And talking about this fella here, you know, he is, of course, the creator of Undertale and the composer of the music of it, as well as Deltarune. And he also composed music for, let's see here, Homestuck. Let's see, volumes 4 through 9. I guess it was a like a webcomic that he just made music for. And he also did music for Alternia Bound. And surprisingly, he contributed one track to Pokemon Sword and Shield, the Battle Tower theme. And as well as contributing, you know, a track here and there to some like other indie game projects. As to this track, it is the theme used in the shop run by Ruxel Card, who is the right-hand man of the king in the Dark World. And, you know, this Ruxel Card is, he doth speaketh in a verily oddest way, and he willeth take thine for a great fooleth or something. I don't know. He's a very strange man. Looks oddly like W.D. Gaster. Wingdings. But he does have very nice hair. And you want to know what else is very nice? Deltarune. I mean, it's just a really fun game. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed both chapters, and, you know, if you haven't played it yet, what are you doing? They're pretty much free to download, at least for, you know, PC. Yeah, I don't know about the other consoles, but yeah, it's, I liked it. Not much more that could be said about it that hasn't already been said. You know, the fan base is kind of rabid, but, you know, it's what you gotta do. You know, Toby gotta do what he gotta do. He gotta make the games. He likes making the games. People love the games. Some people love them a little too much. They get a little too into it. And that's just fine, as long as you don't get into other people's faces about it. But moving right along, I've got a couple more items in our theme to share with you here. The next one I got up here for you is Battle Chip Shop from Megaman Battle Network Battle Chip Challenge from the Game Boy Advance, composed by Yusuke Beppu. Nice little tune was Battle Chip Shop from Mega Man Battle Network Battle Chip Challenge, on the Game Boy Advance, composed by Yusuke Beppu. And this one totally slipped me by when it came out in 2004, but maybe it's a good thing I didn't get it because what I've read and what I've seen, it's not that great of a game. Basically, what it is, it takes place between I think the first Megaman Battle Network and the second one. I'm not sure, but yeah, you basically have your net navi. I'm not sure if you get to choose one or not in this one, but it's a deck building game where you just build you program a deck from all the battle chips you have, and then it randomly chooses out in the battles. It randomly chooses out the chips for you to use, and it's like a side one row face-to-face thing, and then you're facing against a computer opponent, and it randomly chooses the chips that you're going to use, and it does it. So it's not really much player input other than the customization of the deck. So you can kind of see why it wasn't all that great. And the music in this game is very different from the rest of the mainline series, as you can probably tell because it's missing the use of the DMG, the Game Boy sounds, the square, all the square wave and the wave channel and the noise and everything. It's all purely sample based, using that direct sound of the Game Boy Advance. And in this case, it sounds like it's all pre-programmed music being run through the direct sound, which kind of gives it that little kind of warm, fuzzy sound. And this track actually, funnily enough, kind of reminds me of, if you ever played Sam & Max Hit the Road, the point-and-click adventure game on, way back in the PC, DOS days, and maybe eventually in PC, I don't know. But it reminds me of some of the music for the Schnuckies, little, restaurant mini-mart places that you can stop throughout the game. Kind of, just really cheesy, hokey kind of sound and stuff. And yeah, I mean, if you go and listen to all the Schnucky themes from Sam & Max Hit the Road, you'll kind of see what I mean. It's kind of funny. Now, Yusuke Beppu. Beppu. Isn't that just fun to say? A bit of a rundown of what they've composed. They did music for Star Hearts, Hoshi Todaichi no Shisha for the Wonder Swan Color, Love Hina Advance on the Game Boy Advance, released, these two games released in Japan only. And the last thing I have for them is Life Science Surgical Unit. I believe this is on the DS. They've largely worked with, who is this? Shigenori Matsuko on various games and all, but that's Yusuke Beppu. Beppu, Beppu. Beppu, Beppu, Beppu. He's Yusuke Beppu. Having too much fun. Indeed. So now, we've been having all this music, all this shop music, but we haven't had quite the right music for shopping, just for shopping. But we are going to have that right now for our last track that I'm going to be playing for you tonight. Tonight. It's either today or tonight for you. I don't know which one it is. This one is, oh, wouldn't you know it, Shopping from Eve vs. Error, composed by Ryu Umemoto for the NEC PC 98. Well, I hope you enjoyed your shopping from Eve Burst Error, composed by Umemoto, that magical man, on the NEC PC 98. And a little bit of a sound chip nerd out here. This was made using the YM2203 sound chip, the OPN, I believe it is. And yeah, all it is, I believe it's 3 FM channels, 3 SSG channels, basically like square waves. And yeah, it's just really, I love the interplay of the FM and the SSG, those pulse waves, just like, mixing together. And the cool thing is that Ryu here is using the 3rd FM channel as a split, as two 2-op channels, because the YM2203 is a 4-op chip, meaning it has 2 carriers, 2 modulators for each FM channel. But you can take that 3rd channel and split it into 2-op channels to kind of get 2 extra channels. And some of the things you can do with it are really, really cool. Like, for instance, on this track, he's using that 3rd channel split to do the melody and the little counter melody that's in there, as well as the chords that you'll hear with the FM channel. I probably should have done a solo thing on that, but oh well. Hindsight 2020. 2022. We're already there. So a bit about this game. It's another Japanese adventure game, mostly graphic, text-based, kind of like visual novel, but with interactive bits in there. And it's another one of those that has some sexy bits in them, some explicit adult fun times in there. And I think what the story is that you play as between a PI and a special agent. And between these 2 stories, you're going through and figuring out like these different mysteries, murders, scientific discoveries, and all this stuff. And then, slowly these 2 stories are coming together because all these things that are happening are kind of connected, and they all kind of clash. But the one major thing about this game is the music, which is just fantastic. I mean, composed by Ryu Umemoto, and I believe Ryo Takami's in there as well. But I think it's mostly Ryu Umemoto, and my God, this man just knows how to make music. It's unfortunate that he died when he did. It's he was only 40 years old, I think back in early 2000s, 2010 or so. But yeah, no, it's just imagine the music that he could have made now, just imagine. But now we have come to the end, and I'd like to thank you all again for coming back and enjoying VGMporium once more. Allowing me to share with you all these really fine shop themes I found, and sharing my slight obsession with the background music of the Japanese stores, and listening to me be an absolute fool and dork and nerd and all these things rolled into one single ball, a VGM dork ball. And now that I think about it, I think I forgot to introduce myself. My name is AJ Reyes, Rage Cage. You can find me on many social medias, Twitter, Instagram. I'm on Facebook, and then same with VGMporium. You can find them on all 3 of these places, or at least on Instagram and Twitter. And I'm eventually going to do a YouTube. It's VGMporium, VGMporium, and then Rage Cage is RAYJKAYJ. And I have just recently got my podcast up on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Currently waiting for Google Podcast and Stitcher to go through. So, I'll be posting that eventually once that happens. And I already have the next episode planned out for you. One thing I can tell you is that the next batch of tracks I have selected out are some real gems. Make of that as you will. I'd like to, again, thank you for listening in here. I've been Rage Cage, your host. And this has been VGMporium, Video Game Music and More podcast. Until next time, keep on shopping.